Melanie.
We're from Mini Melanie Bakery in Brooklyn, New York.
Our bakery has a family twist to it. Everything is made in our kitchen in Brooklyn, and Diana and I are baking and shipping treats nationwide every day. Cake pops, cookies, cookie cakes, you name it. And we're so excited to show you some sugar cookies with royal icing today that are perfect for Purim. Will you give me a hand?
Of course. These are some family recipes that are going to be great to add to your Purim basket.
So we're going to get started here with our margarine. I'm just going to give it a little chop so that it's a little bit easier on my mixer. And we'll get started by creaming the margarine with the sugar. You can add the sugar in for me, please?
Sure.
Just plain white granulated sugar. Get it nice and fluffy in our mixer. And we'll turn this right on low. So the butter's starting to come together with the sugar. I'm just going to scrape down the bowl a little bit, go a little bit longer, and then we'll add our 1 egg right in. So we have some good progress here with our butter and sugar. Let's add the egg right in and keep mixing.
Of course, every vanilla sugar cookie has some vanilla extract.
Add that right in. I'll mix it in. So we're looking pretty good here, and I'm going to get our flour and baking powder and salt ready. The salt will bring out the sweetness of the dough. We're going to add the baking powder right in, and then our salt. And would you give it just a little stir for me, please, Diana?
Sure.
Perfect. All right, let's do it in additions. I'm going to add about 1/3 of it to begin. Let's go ahead and add just a little bit more. And about 1/3 reserved for the very end. It's starting to really come together here. All right, just a little bit more flour, and then this dough will be ready to go for our sugar cookies. So at this point, the dough's nicely blended all together, and I have a little bit of flour here. I could just place some onto my work surface, not too much, just a little bit. And we can bring kind of everything together and set the dough aside while we get our rolling pin ready and our baking tray. It comes really nicely together right here in the bowl. And let me get every little bit out so we have lots of cookies for our Purim baskets. How's it smelling?
Getting to smell the vanilla. Can't wait till they get in the oven, then your house will really smell like vanilla.
Get ready to roll out our dough with just a little flour here. I'll let you know if we need any more. Keep the dough moving so it doesn't stick to your work surface, and try to get a nice thickness, about 1/4 inch. And as you can see, it's still moving around nicely. I'm just going to put some flour under it before I cut it out. And we have some fun shapes today for Purim. Give me a hand. One for me, one for you.
I really love this mask shape.
Yeah, that's going to be
Start
fun.
cutting that one out. You can get really creative decorating it. When you're re-rolling the dough, is it important that you get the same height from the dough for baking?
That's a great question. Yeah, let's keep the dough the same height so the cookies have a nice amount of thickness to it and they bake evenly in the oven. And people are always asking me best tips, you know, if your cookie's spreading out. I like to definitely, you might want to chill the cookies if the dough's feeling soft. And also keep in mind when you're baking in the winter and the summer, everything's always changing. So if your dough's feeling like a little soft right now, mine's pretty good, then you can always give it a chill for 5 minutes or so in the fridge before you pop it into the oven.
And what shelf in the oven is best for sugar cookies?
Let's try to do the middle shelf, and that will bake nice and evenly. But you can always use your top shelf and your bottom shelf if you have that many, and just keep rotating, keep an eye on them. You're looking for just golden brown. And if your dough's feeling a little soft, you can pop it in the fridge, wrapped up for a little bit. I also love freezing dough, and you can always, have it ready to go whenever someone's popping over for a visit, or if you want to decorate cookies for a play date.
So you could double this recipe and store some in your freezer?
Absolutely.
Great.
You can roll them out in sheets in between parchment and keep that ready to go. We used to bake cookies like this all the time growing up and decorate, for any holiday, not just Purim. You can make Hanukkah cookies. By the end of the year, you'll be a pro.
Yeah, and we love wrapping them up with ribbon, giving them to teachers, friends.
Yeah, that's a nice touch for sure. I think
Time
we're
to
about
bake.
full here. Yeah, let's head to the oven.
Now it's my favorite part, decorating the cookies. And this brings back so many memories from childhood, and we love doing it with our children now.
We're gonna mix up the royal icing while our cookies are baking. Will you help me crack the eggs?
Sure.
Perfect. In our house, everyone's always fighting over who gets to crack the egg. I don't know why, it's always so fun. It's a fun challenge. And this is a really classic icing. And cookies, right? Sometimes we put buttercream on top, but this icing is really nice for the baskets because it's gonna harden, and then we can wrap them up. And the protein in the egg white, that's what's going to make it harden and be really nice and shiny too. All right, perfect. We got our eggs and lots of confectioner's sugar. So we'll get started getting it a little bit foamy. I'll show you what I mean. Just to kind of break it up a little bit. That looks good to you? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Now let's add in about half the sugar, just so we don't make a mess. That's always the telltale sign in a professional kitchen in the pastry department. If at your first day you get the powdered sugar all over everybody when the mixer starts. About halfway there. Let's go for a little bit more. Let's give it a little scrape here. We can always add some more confectioner's sugar if you want the icing to be a little bit thicker. This is a nice base though, so keep adding your icing sugar or your confectioner's sugar in if you want a thicker icing, which I think I might do.
Looks good, yeah. So a little more sugar to thicken it up.
Yeah, we need it to get a little bit thicker for our cookie decorating. Want to give it a go? Nice and white and fluffy. This is going to be amazing, and it has just enough sweetness, nice balance with a little lemon juice we'll add here. Add that right in and just give it a little stir. And what we like to do is divide up the icing into smaller bowls, and we can add in some food coloring to make things really extra festive today. If you have sprinkles, you can add the sprinkles on too while the icing is still wet. So I'm going to show you how I like to mix in the food coloring. You don't need too much. It's always tempting to add more than you need. So we can mix up one color here. Just give it a little hand getting out of here. There's all different kinds of food colorings out there. This is nice to use a paste like this. Some have squeeze tops, and yeah, perfect. Let's stir that right in, and you can have so much fun mixing up these bases at home. Let your family pick the colors and kind of roll with it. You could do a tie-dye effect, and we're gonna have so much fun decorating our cookies once they're cooled down. Definitely have to cool them down. I think this looks really nice for Purim.
Yeah, let's mix up the other colors and get ready to decorate our cookies.
We'll be right back.
So just as a reminder, the cookies baked in the oven for 6 to 8 minutes. We took them out. They're a beautiful golden color, and they cooled in our fridge for a few minutes, and they're ready to decorate. So get your creative juices flowing.
And we have our icings. We have some that you could put in a piping bag, or you could use a Ziploc bag. I'll show you how I snip them open with some scissors. Or some of the icing that you mix up, you can just keep it right here in the dish and maybe spread it with a palette knife or a regular knife. We're just going to give you some options so you could decorate right from the dish of icing, or you can use a piping bag. Both will be great. Let's get started with some different designs. So if you're using the icing in the piping bag, you can snip off just a little bit. Just snip straight across.
You can always snip more, so less is better.
And let me just test it out here. We hope you enjoyed decorating these sugar cookies with royal icing with us today, and you picked up a trick or two. Happy Purim!
We'd love to see what you created at home, so be sure to tag kosher.com.